In this tutorial, I want to show you what it means to offset paths, and in fact I also want to show you how to expand paths because it actually will come in handy from time to time. Here what I'm creating is a monogram for the words makeup artist. So MUA is what I want to do. So how did I do this? Well, by now this should actually be really easy for you. Clicking, we can hold down shift to make sure that things are going to be in a straight line. So if my first point was there, if I hold shift, it's actually going to make sure that it goes in a straight line. And then if I turn on smart guides, wherever I have my M, at the top of the M, I can follow that out and it kind of snaps to there. One thing I didn't show was actually the join tool. So I am going to add another one here called join. I'm going to show you what it is to join right now. So say I've got my M, I'm going to transform, reflect, I'm going to copy vertically and I want to copy this. Now if I move this out, with these 2 points I want them, let's go to outline mode, I want them to actually be right on top of each other. So I can click and drag. You'll notice that it's a black arrow at the moment. If I hover over it, it goes to the white arrow. It means it's directly snapped onto that area. Now, visually, this looks like it is kind of joined together. Certainly in outline mode it does, but we know that they're two separate objects. What we can do is select your white arrow, and if I select these 2 points, now I've selected them. When I move them around, I can go to the object menu, path, and click on join, and it makes it one actual path now. So if I click on this, it actually moves together. Be wary though, if you have got 2 things, let's say I've got objects like this, if I select these 2, they are not going to join right up the path. Rather, they're not going to join together. Rather, it's going to create a bridge that goes over. If you do want these points to be together, you can either drag one on top of each other, or you can say object, path, average, and it averages it both horizontally and vertically in the center or between the 2 points, and then you can join and it does that. Okay, so enough about that. I have created this M, this U, and this A. With this A, it is a group. If I double click, you can see that that's a separate path in there. So first I want to show you, well, we've shown join, so we can do this. First I want to show you what it is to expand before we can offset. So I actually want these to not only visually be like this, but also in outline mode, I don't just want these to be a line. So let's duplicate this and I can show you the difference between the two. In here we can say object, expand, and it's going to expand the fill and the stroke. And if I go OK, if I go to outline mode, the difference between the two is now very clear. We've got a thick M, which is what this is, but where this is a path that I can still change to be a different weight, I can no longer do that. It's not a stroke, it is now a fill. So the difference between this is a stroke or a path, and this is now a fill. It is now a shape. So now for offsetting, because I'm creating a monogram, I want this to be some sort of cool monogram where letters weave in and out of each other. So let's do this. Let's say I want this M to intersect a couple of these letters. So I'm going to select this, or in fact I'm actually going to join this A. I'll show you what I mean. At the moment it is, well, you can't really see that. Okay, it's 2 separate objects. I can ungroup this and we can see that that's a separate object. I want this to all be one. So I'm going to go to my Pathfinder and go unite. It now joins this all together. I'm going to give this different colors so we can see what we are doing, and I want a couple of objects to go in and through each other. So let's go with the M. If I say object, path, offset path, you might have seen this in previous tutorials with the word impact. I'm going to say, let's say, well, 5 mil is way too much. Let's say 2 millimeters. With that 2 millimeters, I can now actually select something else, and I can go and make this go to the top. I can select two things, and I can say minus front. That didn't work because I needed to ungroup it actually. So now I've got my small m and I've also got my big M. So I can cut that. So that looks like it's now actually going over the top of it. Let's say I wanted the A to go over the top of the M. I'm going to move that to the top. I'm going to go object, path, offset path. 2 millimeters is what I used. It now selects it. I'm going to select the M as well and delete it. Now, what happened last time was that this M totally disappeared simply because I deselected after I created my offset. So I'll show you with this. With my A, if I say offset path and I do that, if I click off it and then click back onto my A, sometimes it actually selects both of them. But what you want is just the bigger one. So let's do this, delete that. And now I've got the A looking like it is on top of the M. Let's do the U. Now with the U, we actually need this to be a compound path, or I can ungroup it, and these two are separate. If I make it a compound path, it means that this is one whole object, and I cannot ungroup it. So, actually I don't need it to be like that, so I'm going to release it because I just want this area. So let's go object path, offset path, 2 mil. Now, because it's below, I need it to be above, so right click, arrange, bring to front, select my A, and then I can minus the front. So sure, it looks a bit messy, and if I wanted to do this better, I might have only chosen the left-hand side of the U to intersect with the M and not on that side. But I've successfully shown you what it is to use the offset path tool, as well as why we need to expand things, because we wouldn't have been able to do this without expanding it. The only other way to do that would have been to create additional points in our path and then deleting sections from it. But we don't get the same contour with our path. Okay, so offsetting and expanding.